Hello, I'm Maris, a 17-year-old girl. Through my bewilderment and suffering, I want to tell you about the painful love story of my mother and I. I was an orphan before Alice came and saved me. I was 5 years old. Before me, Alice couldn't get pregnant, while her husband yearned for children. He went to find new happiness, making poor Alice fall into despair. She came to me in that bad condition. The 24-year-old woman, abandoned by her husband, endured an age that was meant to be the happiest of her life. An orphan who wants nothing without family love. Alice has offered me everything that I longed for from the bottom of my heart. I feel more thankful and appreciate her more than anybody else. But instead, I did things that an indebted person should not have done. After having me and the luxury of time, Alice gradually forgot about the pain of a broken marriage and began to broaden her relationships. The first person she met was the same age as her. His name is Darius, 36 years of age and a successful businessman. My mother received from him many valuable gifts and long fantastic trips. He gave her happiness and abundant wealth, but my mother found it so boring that she was no longer interested in valuable things or any other interesting places. That love ended after about a year. The second person she knew was Albert. He was 3 years older than my mother and a writer. After a short period, she ended the engagement because she thought that he was too much of a daydreamer with his exhausting philosophies. I didn't pay much attention to these men because they didn't affect me. But then the third man appeared. His name is Hubert, a 25-year-old man and a talented painter. The wedding rapidly took place, and a number of gossips started concerning their age. I was also surprised at my mother's ability, that she was almost 38 years old, but she has a wide range of relationships. I heard that they had met each other in an art gallery because my mother was interested in his works. At that time, a 17-year-old girl such as myself couldn't resist such a wonderful man. I didn't call him dad or stepfather because he is simply my heart, my whole life, and my ideal of living. He has everything from appearance and personality to talent and enthusiasm. The only thing I hate about him is that he only belonged to my mom. His gentle words and loving acts to my mother made me crazy. Every time my mother would leave for work, he would always make sure that she is dressed, and he would always wish her the best before leaving. I could only observe as a child. I was jealous when they became more intimate. Warm hugs, sweet kisses. I wanted to be the one with those things. I chose not to look outside for affection, but rather decided to fight, losing the love that my mother had for me 12 years ago. I used this body, this young age, to fight it. Anytime Hubert came to visit, I began fumbling and started a physical interaction with him. Thanks to that, I was able to hold his hand and lie on his shoulders, and then my eyes met his eyes in the challenge. My mother was not worried about those actions. She thought it was the action of an immature child's behavior, and above all, she trusted me to some degree in this relationship. One day, I took initiative and went to his private workplace. Around the same time, he needed a female model to be painted half naked. When this opportunity arrived, I proactively recommended myself to be his model. Hubert disagreed and said, "A good father will not let his daughter do things like this." I said I wanted to support him to do this, and I was also an art lover. He decided to make an exception. I said, "Mom won't know anything about it, and you should be comfortable with her passion for the arts." I chose a thin, light pink scarf through for him to see the beauty and youthfulness. I want a fresh image in his eyes. I wanted to say that I was more attractive than my 40-year-old mother who had a husband. Selecting a fairly discreet posture was necessary because he would come closer to guide me. He started to approach me and I adjusted my stance. His hands softly touching my face, his gentle eyes and words, he said, "Relax, little girl." I felt like a little pet waiting for her owner to be pampered. The drawing ended at the end of the day, and the results were very beautiful. I offered to continue this work because I really liked my picture painted by him. He agreed. Alice didn't know much about this deception, and I was satisfied with the love I just gained. Subsequent working sessions took place on a regular basis. I decided to move this one step forward in our relationship. In the image of an innocent girl, I intentionally dropped my towel. Hubert turned away and pretended to see nothing. I considered myself so trashy. I traded this whole body just because I wanted to have him. But now he did not seem to accept this body. I burst into tears. At this moment, he could no longer appear to have puzzled emotions on his face. He began to apologize to me and said that he should not have agreed to let me do this work. I cried louder. He was afraid of the attention of others around, so he hugged me and comforted me. Maybe he never did it to anyone. I was happy about that. I might be the second woman in his life. My determination became stronger than ever. I hugged him with my whole body. I said, "I love you." I did everything because I wanted to be with him. Hubert was stunned. I kissed him and he piqued his interest with my magic hands. For the first time, Hubert experienced a sensation. We advanced far in the morning. Returning home as usual, both Hubert and I agreed to hide this. We'd been natural, but we were far more intimate than father and daughter affection should stretch in my mother's absence. Furthermore, the plays were both performed by me and Hubert to hide the reality about the three of us. Quarrels risen more frequently. All activities and events that took place every day were utilized successfully by both of us. Hubert complained about the food, which I had prepared in family meals. I watched a TV show when the whole family was gathering. Alice tried to fix some problems. She arranged meals outside in luxurious restaurants, including outings at major venues, which she had to pay a lot for. Of course, I didn't go as expected, and it didn't happen because we disliked each other. I simply didn't want her to be suspicious. After several days, she became tired of witnessing the chaotic scenes unfolding in front of her. She left home more frequently, and that's when we spent our moments together. We spent more time together and got closer. This way, Hubert fell in love with two women at the same time. I had half of the man in my mother's life. My selfishness increased. I wanted Hubert to be my own. I wanted to get rid of my adoptive mother from our lives. One day I tried to surprise him with expensive shoes, with the meaning of "come along with me," when I realized the painful truth. He was loving another woman, not me and not Alice either, but another woman, and on the same chair where we first made love. She was hot, he was intense. I felt like I was stripped bare for what I offered to him. I couldn't believe my own stupidity and asked myself as to why I loved such a guy. I suddenly realized that the one who was suffering more than me right now was my mom, who had been through a lot of fractured relationships, and here it was again. Should I be honest that the child who she has been raising for 12 years has played a part behind her back and has produced the circumstances that it is today? I regret and suffer because of my wrong decisions. Without me, Hubert would still be a faithful man to my mom, Alice. They would have had a beautiful relationship. The man whom I loved would not have been as nice of an individual as he is now. No, that is not true. If I had not done it to him, he would have still been with another girl. He still will not be faithful to my mother, and the other woman, she was pitiful to Hubert. She was just a sheep like me. What should I do, guys? I am really confused. I love my stepfather, but he broke my heart. Should I be honest with my mother, expecting to receive forgiveness? But will she suffer again, or continue with the blind love she has shared with so many other women? Please give me some advice.